So, one more thing about narcissists. How do you know about narcissists so well, Shauna, if you're not just talking about yourself? Good question. And it's not like I don't have insight on human behavior, especially coming from other people. You know, there are such a thing as the opposite of narcissist, which psychologists are saying isn't the truth, but I see what they're saying, and they see what we mean by that. Well, there is the empath versus the narcissist, and it's just that the empath is more creative in expressing pain. They've been through probably they could be through the same boundary breaking experiences. Everybody is going through that, and having to do the proper separation from their parents. And so the empath has achieved that in such a way that isn't such a problem. They're able to express themselves. Like I said, a lot of them are really good artists. They just know that, well, you need therapy. You need your own space. You know, hopefully you can get away from these people. Whatever is going on, it should never be that you're living in bondage with somebody. You need to go get help, whether it's, can you help me take care of my paraplegic aunt or something like that? Really, you need a break. But you don't have to be always, it doesn't always have to be that. I mean, that's the main complaint, is the people who aren't handicapped, but they are highly narcissistic and behaving in all of these ways as if, you know, I am highly guilty of that. Everybody is at this point. It has bloomed. It's called a bloom since the announcement of COVID-19. It was planned. A lot of people like me, narcissists, the chosen ones, the people who know how to see in certain ways that it's like, okay, that's paranormal is what it is, and there's remote viewers and telepaths, and really it's just being a healthy human being, and you're letting in your intuitive body rather than just letting your mind control everything. I like to just go like this and nail it to the wall, or I don't know what's going on with that, but you have to make it more real than what? A simple experience that will actually, I hear some things that the new age YouTube talkers are trying to say. They get right into it and talk about how the mind is going to control everything and do everything for us, and it's like, that's just not the truth. You have to realize that you're falling kind of victim to the culprit, who is directly saying, you will now have to follow me because I'm more real than reality and the truth. You're supposed to kind of direct attention or focus into your own awareness, the truth and reality, and then feed that into the mind. The mind, there's a saying that some Indian says. It says, don't give your mind to reality. You know, you give reality to the mind. There is a lot of new age talky talk. I mean, it's going down to, I think there's a myth that people can be now, but it comes along with, you know, there's thick books, and the first one said, the first page, in the beginning there was the Word. That's like if somebody gave somebody in my town who just lives on gossip and says, yeah, tell me again, and says, let's write the Bible and say that the universe was built on verbiage. what are we going to do? It's like very few people know the fact about that the ultimate truth is beyond all words and symbols. You know, I'm not saying that, I mean, of course, I mean, this is the age of they call it the fork tongue age. Fork tongue age. Language. Lengua age. Lengua means tongue. Age is, you have no idea about the interfacing system called the English alphabet that was sent by benevolent beings who live in outer space. What I know about the mathematic equations and how we're using verbiage is that it can control perception into a time frame that if you were to know that there is no time, but there is levels of perception that have an understanding about a certain thing. And what we see as just this huge critical mass that get in your car and see how far you can drive around and put gas and find out where the end is or whatever, try to find if it's flat or round or not. It's there, and we don't really know what they're hiding from us. Based on how that they're masking the simple truth, like something that really you can sit back and just breathe into a patterning and a situation and say, wait a minute, how do we think we know? Just because they told us? They held up a map and said, yep, went all through here and this is it. How do you think you know? But so just because it was said, so what people don't understand, what you should try and contemplate is just to really try to understand something deeper, and then you'll begin to realize that there is something, what I'm saying about the English alphabet, how that there is 3 dimensions that you can find within it, and it very much pertains to how that our reality is perceived. We stay mainly in the first dimension, which is the mind, who you can just go like this, say anything. Man, these poor children, and they are overgrown into 70, that it will really disrupt them. Things you say really just knocks them for a loop, you know. And what do they have to do next? Get a book and just start peering to there and looking at these chapters, and it's like, you know what? None of that brings realization to the innate truth. It's okay to have fun with your mind with all of that. I mean, it's great to hypnotize yourself and stay, I don't know, you got to stay focused on something, and I would suggest to go to reality. It's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with reality. First of all, people need to get back into perception what reality is. And the spelling, now I call it the symbology, the English alphabet, RIA, the REA, and even IA is pointing at God. It's really, if you knew this and just gave in to that there is a simple mathematic equation that's already here, in the form of the symbology of the English alphabet. Mainly it's pictures, stick figures. They don't tell you this, man. They are, it's called Babylon. So let's look up the Latin origination, and then there's what else? Greek is the Greek, and then what else? And and it's like, try outer space, babes. Try good old math that doesn't have to do with just numbers. It's very much more complicated, and you, like I said, you have to be willing to expand your perception into understanding something more deeper, and just realize the symbology is already here in the form of English alphabet. I won't say language because the mouth noising part, there's where nobody knows what they're saying and they aren't saying anything to anybody. Not really. If you really knew the nature of reality, what God has created for us and our real lives, what that really is, and you begin to just refocus it on all of these myths who are called people, that they start talking and it's like, who knows why and where it comes. It's really, you can dial in on it. I mean, wow, these are egos that are trying to be more real than now. And why? Why is that so important? Well, you'd probably go crazy if you really knew the truth. Very few people qualified to know the truth. At the same time that we see these truths like, oh my God, the fact of the one dimension communication that's going on where nobody really listens to what they're really saying, let alone what they're looking at in spelling. That is all done in lowercase base wasteland, by the way. There isn't any reason to have a full spectrum available to you in capital lettering. But we just think about it, just one capital at the top. Now listen to it. Why is there just one capital at the top and the rest just drops? See, now I was trying to talk about, like, this is math, and it has to do with the laws of physics. Really? How our realm, REA, was created. And it's like really simple. It's written, but it's not like you think it is. Like, it's not a book that you start reading words. It's mathematic equations, babes. And there's a reason why that this interfacing system was introduced to the entire global population. I don't know everything, but I keep dialing in on it. It's like, oh, this is so interesting because, first of all, you don't know human history. They are making us there is interference with all of the things that are here to simply dial us in on what's really going on. There is an interference. There's a system on this planet that says, shh, don't let the human organism know what they belong to and what's actually happening. And it's actually so simple that it can be written down. You can be able to understand it, but these are mathematic equations. It's not words, it's math. It's actually symbology. It's all around you. If you knew what the symbol H was, the capital letter symbol H, it's actually a more understandable picture of the parallels and dimensions of the yin yang. It stands for hydrogen, but an element that's commonly found in outer space, even collapsed stars. It's my favorite symbol. It's a symbol. They don't say it's a letter. They say this symbol represents this, and that's why you can keep look up actual letters, like what they mean. They'll say this symbol means that. It's not a letter. What the fuck is a letter? Except for I like the let her idea. Just let her every once in a while. After a while, you will see that you will find out, and I know that the communications that is being held between dimensions here, which you would say in outer space, is it's being held together by a presence on this earth called, well, if you were to look at their gender, it's mainly women. And it's a vibrational frequency that's being maintained that you have no idea how it's connected here, and you don't have any idea how it's constant awareness to to keep up this vibration, which, like I said, it's a war. It's war against. There is something that does not want you to know how easy it is. And what I'm saying is going to be correlating with what we're dealing with astrologically. I mean, we're seeing the secrets that are going to be revealed about the feminine energy that is non-existent. Basically, we're not being acknowledged for that which holds all of the civilization together. They're holding the whole thing together, cooking meals, and let alone giving births and turning around and picking the meal and going back to the kitchen and making it, baby. Very important to have us around. I mean, come on, give us credit every once in a while and give us an orgasm too. I'm just kidding. It's not up to you, but God, do you allow a little bit of time and space for us? Men just think it's like, ha ha ha, I'm done.